Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Did It Work? My name is Nina, and today I'm going to be attempting chicken and andouille jambalaya. This recipe comes from Emeril Lagasse's cookbook, Louisiana Real and Rustic, page 221, for those that's got to follow along with me. I am excited about this recipe for a couple of reasons. Reason number one, bam! Every time he would season something, the Emeril Lagasse's cook show. Second, me and my family back home in Kansas City used to go to this restaurant called Jazz's. It was a Cajun restaurant. And my brother, when he would go with us, would order nearly everything on the menu, including jambalaya. So this is for him. I wish he was here to taste it with me, but when you run off to California and you leave your family, that's not always possible. Another reason why I'm doing this recipe is one of the very first people I ever met in California asked me to make this when they found out about my show. So this recipe is for that person as well. So let's get started. The first thing that I always do is set out all the ingredients. So I have all these set out, the chicken, andouille, vegetables, all of the seasonings as well. So after that, we're just going to go through and start reading the recipe. Number one, heat oil in large cast iron Dutch oven. Large cast iron Dutch oven. Yes, I did just happen to have one laying around. I love cast iron. Let's get this over medium heat. My oil. Next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to let this heat up first. Okay, so I have my oil heated. So now I'm going to add onions, bell peppers, salt, cayenne seasoning. Got to give it some spice right there. Stirring often. I'm going to brown the vegetables for about 20 minutes. I'm going to let you see what this looks like inside. This has the onions, the green bell peppers, salt, and cayenne. So I'm stirring often as the recipe calls for, and I'm about 10 minutes into the 20 minutes that it told me to use. So this is what it looks like. So I've still got some time to go. Okay, so it has been 20 minutes. This is what I have so far. This is the color that I have. I do not consider this caramelized and dark brown. I'm going to let it go for about 5 more minutes and we're going to check in again. So let me show you what I have. This is what I have. It is a little bit brown, but this is not what I consider dark brown nor caramelized. So I'm going to give it another 5 minutes to see if I can get a darker brown caramelization on my onions and peppers. So I'll be back. So it's been 5 more minutes, a lot browner, but I'm going to try to get a little bit more of a dark brown caramelization on here. So I am going to let it go for another 5 more minutes. I'm now back again. This is what I have. This is a nice dark brown. It looks like I've got a good caramelization on it. And I'm now going to make the call and say I have what he's looking for. So let's go back to the recipe. Stirring often. Brown the vegetables for about 20 minutes or until they are caramelized and dark brown in color. Scrape the bottom and sides of the pot to loosen any browned particles. So I have done that. I'm using a wooden spoon because it doesn't conduct heat and I can leave it here and pick it back up. If this was metal, I would have burnt myself by now. Now we're going to add the sausage and cook, stirring often for 10 to 15 minutes, scraping the bottom and sides of the pot to loosen any brown particles. So here's my sausage. Pour that in there and stir this up. So let me give you a little bit of information about this recipe. On page 220, in Gonzales, a small town southeast of Baton Rouge, proclaimed by the Louisiana legislature to be the jambalaya capital of the world. It is an article of faith that jambalaya should must be brown like this recipe. I think that's why they really emphasize that dark brown caramelized color. See you in 10 to 15 minutes. I am now 7 minutes into the cooking processes, and this is where I am. It has a very wonderful smell to it. You can see how brown and caramel these are and how the sausage is shrinking up as they cook. We need smell-o-vision. I do believe Emeril used to say that all the time. Too bad we don't have smell-o-vision. We need it because the smells coming from this, the aroma, it's magical. You can even smell the spice, but you can smell the caramelization that's going on here. This is great. I'll see you again. Okay, so this has been 10 minutes. I'm gonna let you see what I have. And I am very happy with the cook on this sausage, the caramelization, and the color of this. I have scraped like this all around the bottoms of my pan so to make sure that I have all of those brown particles off as the recipe instructed. It tells us to season the chicken, salt, cayenne. I'm going to take my spatula, just kind of stir these around. Yes, you can also use your hand. I'm using the spatula instead. That way I don't have to wash my hands again. Because if you use your hands, you have to wash your hands before you touch anything else. Okay, so I have that done. Now I want to add the chicken and the bay leaves to the pot. Add the chicken and my bay leaves. And I'm going to brown the chicken for 8 to 10 minutes, scraping the bottom of the pot to loosen any brown particles. So I'll see you back here. I am now 5 minutes into my cook. I have been stirring often and stirring off those brown particles on the bottom, so making sure I'm getting a good scrape, which is why I use a wooden spoon. I'll let you see what I have so far. This is what I have. The chicken's starting to get cooked through, so it's starting to get a little bit of color on there. But I'm going to give it to last 5 more minutes since it said 8 to 10, and I've only done 5. I'm going to give it at least 3 more minutes, if not more. Okay, so it has now been about 9 minutes, so I kind of split the difference there. Let me let you see what I have. I like what I have right now. So I'm going to continue with the recipe. I'm going to add the rice and stir for 2 to 3 minutes to coat it evenly. So I want this rice to get coated with all this yummy, yummy, good flavor is what I'm trying to do. So got my holder because I said I'm working with cast iron, black cast iron at that. It is very hot. So without this, you would have heard me screaming in all kinds of pain that you don't want to be hearing. I'll be back in 2 to 3. Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes. Doing it one last stir on here to get all those loose brown particles, as he calls them, up and make sure that this is very coated. Again, I wish you could smell what I'm smelling. It smells delicious. Next, I'm going to add the water. I'm going to pour it in here. Stir to combine. I'm going to stir carefully because my pot is full. So I'm stirring this now very carefully. Now I'm going to read another part in this book right after it said must be brown like this recipe. Now the brown color is achieved by caramelizing the onions and browning the sausage and chicken in a black cast iron pot, the one that I'm cooking in. Now in New Orleans and some other parts of the state, jambalaya is often red, made so by the addition of tomatoes. So there will be no tomatoes in this one. So this will be brown and not red. So for all those people are just like, jambalaya is red. That's why I wanted to go make sure I read that part in there so that you didn't completely think I was crazy. I have all of this combined now. Next, it says add the water, stir to combine, and cover. My lid, cook over medium heat for 30 to 35 minutes without stirring. No more stirring, or until rice is tender and the liquid has been absorbed. Remove the pot from the heat and let stand covered for 2 to 3 minutes. Remove the bay leaves. After that, I will stir in the green onions and serve. I can't wait. We're getting closer and closer to eating. I will see you back here in 30 minutes. Okay, I'm back. It has now been about 30 minutes without stirring that this has been on medium heat. So I'm going to check to see if my rice is tender. This is what we have right here. Get a tasting spoon. My rice is tender. So mine is done. Turn the fire out. And my last instructions is remove pot from the heat and let stand. Moving it to the other side of the stove. Let stand covered for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then I'm going to remove the bay leaves. Stir in the green peppers. Don't have a short for that, sorry. It has now been 2 to 3 minutes. I am removing 2 of my 3 bay leaves. Hopefully I'll find the other one as I'm stirring in my green onions as instructed. And as I'm stirring these in, I'm looking for my bay leaves. Here is our final product. I did find my 3rd bay leaf as I was stirring in green onions. So now let's taste. I'm so excited. I have a small tasting, just a little bit. I'm gonna eat full later. Let's see if this worked. Got some chicken and rice right now. This worked. This is really good. The rice is nice and tender. That spice, I can really taste that cayenne. It's not overbearing, but I can definitely taste the cayenne pepper in there. I'm gonna taste the andouille sausage, which has got to have another kick of spice in it. This is wonderful. That andouille sausage, it's spicy, but not overly spicy. With that rice and that chicken, this worked. This is as good as Maya Angelou's lemon meringue pie. There's nothing about this recipe that I would change. Okay, I might throw some shrimp in it because I like shrimp. Shrimp was not in this recipe, but that's fine. That's the only thing I might throw in there is some shrimp. Other than that, as of seasoning the way it cooked it, I will not change a thing. I hope you try this recipe. It is really worth it. Again, Emeril Lagasse's book, Louisiana Real and Rustic, page 221. Until next time, love with your heart and cook with your soul. My name's Nina.